Today we're happy to walk everyone through Western Australia's Safe Return to School plan. While Minister Ellery will go into full details, there's a few things that are important to highlight. In preparation for this plan, all 900 public education facilities in Western Australia have been inspected to check the ventilation of each and every classroom to determine what is required for each and every classroom. Over 12,000 air purifiers are being provided to schools statewide for the classrooms that require them. CO2 monitors will also be provided where required to monitor CO2 levels. There will be enhanced cleaning services across the state. Contingency plans for remote learning for students that are required to isolate. Not to mention mask wearing in line with the current measures in Perth, Peel and the southwest. And proof of vaccination requirements for staff and regular visitors to schools. All of this contributes to ensure schools will be as safe as possible for students. It also allows for a degree of flexibility with the ability to hold classes in alternative settings if needed, and the ability to ramp up if required with expanded mask wearing requirements for younger students if the Chief Health Officer advises it. We know how important it is for our schools to remain open, so our children receive the quality education they deserve and society continues to function smoothly. We've taken every practicable step to ensure schools are as safe as possible in the current environment for both staff and students. But we retain the capacity to boost measures in the event of a large-scale outbreak. We want students, parents and staff to feel confident when class resumes next week. But the best thing parents can do in the coming days is to make a booking for their children to get vaccinated. I'll now hand over to the Education Minister before taking questions.
Thanks very much, Premier. Thank you for all being here today. Thank you to Joondalup Primary School for hosting us. Can I begin by thanking all of the staff who have worked to get schools ready for Term 1. We are looking forward to welcoming students and staff back to schools across Western Australia next week. We are returning to school in a very different set of circumstances to the rest of Australia, who have high numbers of community cases. I checked the numbers yesterday, for example. New South Wales recorded 15,000 new cases, Victoria 11,000 new cases, Queensland 10,000 new cases, and South Australian 2,000 new cases. You've heard from the Premier today, 18 new cases overnight in Western Australia. So those case numbers are not the same as they are here in Western Australia. While we are announcing additional measures today, these are the new baseline measures that can be scaled up when our case numbers increase. Keeping our schools open and providing face-to-face learning to students is important to students' learning, their social and emotional development, their overall well-being and their physical and mental health. Schools will be the first to open and the last to close. Face-to-face learning is our priority. I want to reassure parents and the wider community that schools are prepared and equipped so that students will get the highest quality education in the safest possible way. We want students back at school and to have as normal a school year as possible. So today we are announcing additional measures are in place to help them keep their families and school staff safe. We've worked hard to ensure that schools are staffed with the excellent teachers and support staff that they need. As of yesterday, 97.5% of teachers have uploaded their vaccine information as required as part of the mandate ahead of teachers returning from leave this coming Thursday. For external providers providing services on school sites, they will also need to show proof of vaccination. The Department of Education has additional support available to assist schools with staffing for day one and throughout the term as required, including flying squads, a significant pool of about 5,000 fully vaccinated casual teachers, and around 450 non-school-based but registered teachers. These are, for example, people in head office who have responded positively that they are willing and able to teach. The department has been working directly with schools to assist them manage vacancies and to fill those for day one. Last year, the AHPPC, which is the body of all Chief Health Officers across Australia, recommended that schools develop ventilation plans. As part of the planning for the start of Term 1, all 900 public school facilities in WA have been inspected to check the ventilation of every classroom. There is a specific protocol in place for every classroom in every public school. The protocol is based on natural ventilation through the use of fresh air and opening windows and doors, mechanical ventilation, air conditioners and evaporative coolers that are turned on half an hour before school starts and turned off 1 hour after it finishes, that provide fresh air and can adequately ventilate rooms, and air purifiers that are fitted with high efficiency particulate air filters, that's HEPA filters, in those classrooms where the combination of natural and mechanical ventilation has been assessed as not being satisfactory. 12,000 air purifiers fitted with the HEPA filters are being provided to public schools statewide, where they are required for adequate ventilation. Delivery of these began last week and will be complete before Monday. Our geography means that desirability of having windows and doors open will differ from area to area as the weather changes. So those protocols are going to change as well over the course of the seasons. Every classroom has a sticker on the door and a hard copy plan is in every school, alerting staff as to what steps to take in that classroom. So if you can imagine a school that may have been added to over the years, there will be different arrangements, different air conditioners, different evaporative coolers across even the same site. And so this is why the protocol is for every classroom in every public school. Developing that, so conducting the audit, developing the protocol has been a huge piece of work since November last year. And I want to thank the staff in the Departments of Education and Finance for that work. A further 1,500 carbon dioxide monitors are being provided to schools to monitor classroom CO2 levels as needed. CO2 monitors assist to assess whether the ventilation is satisfactory. As always, we will continue to follow the advice of the Chief Health Officer and will take the necessary steps to reduce risk, to prevent transmission and respond appropriately to the cases and their impacts on schools and student learning. Contingency plans are in place to minimise disruption to student learning in the event it is required, including hard copy learning packages, access to online learning resources, and arrangements to temporarily replace teachers and other school staff if they are required to isolate due to COVID-19. All parents can come on site for drop-off, pick-up, meetings with staff, assemblies and sports carnivals. But those parents who regularly volunteer, that is, come into a school to do volunteer type work more than once a week, will be required to show evidence of their vaccination status. Other measures to continue to reduce the risk includes enhancing cleaning, providing additional cleaning supplies, supplying hand sanitisers and masks for those who either lose theirs or they break during the course of the day. Currently, masks are required for students in Year 7 and above in Perth, Peel and the South West. However, based on advice from the Chief Health Officer, once a high caseload environment is reached, masks will become mandatory for students in Year 3 and above. With WA's case numbers currently nowhere near those faced by the other states, for the first week back at school, the additional arrangements in place for day one here are our new baseline. Moving forward, we will need to remain vigilant and be responsive in the event of increased case numbers in the community. There are other measures being planned now for when those case numbers increase, and we will make those public over the course of the next week or so. This year will no doubt present challenges, but I am confident that schools are prepared to adapt and take on any of the challenges that we face. We are all in this together, and I encourage parents to support their schools, keep your children home if they are unwell, and understand if learning programs are disrupted from time to time if staff members are unwell. The best protection for your child is vaccination. There are appointments available now. Please book your child in.